Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of All Talk, and today it's a little bit of an unusual Hi and welcome to another episode of All Talk, and today what an episode we've got for you, because we're going to be chatting about which was the best hot hatchback of the 1990s. Wow, what a hell of a question that is to try and answer. We've got three fantastic contenders for you today, so I better head over to the unit and show you what we've got in store. It's an argument as old as time. Well, it's as old as the 1990s, because if you were born in the 70s and you were driving hot hatches in the 1990s, then you would have been sat around in the local pub arguing about which was the best hot hatch of the day. We've got three fantastic choices to show you today. So we've got a beautiful Honda EK9, and when I say beautiful, I don't really mean that because it's in need of a full restoration. But we do have a fully restored Peugeot 106 Rallye, and we've also got a fully restored and modified Fiesta RS Turbo. Now, I'm sure that most of you will agree that they are three potential contenders for the best hot hatch of the 1990s, but you guys are going to have your own favourites as well. You're not exactly short on choice, are you? We've got things like the Peugeot 205 GTI, the Peugeot 309 GTI, the Renault 5 GT Turbo, the Astra GTE. So there's a whole host of stuff. Comment below and let us know what you would choose back in the day, or what you did choose, and tell us what you would actually like to buy and drive again now. Maybe you already have. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then make sure to do so. I am desperate for subscribers to keep paying for my Christmas credit card bills. So we will see you shortly, and better show you around these cars. Despite the fact that the EK9 is a standard car, it certainly is a standout car amongst this group. It does have the advantage of being a much newer vehicle. This car was first produced in 1997. And actually the EK9 was a development of the 6th generation Honda Civic, and was a third car from Honda to actually wear the Type R badge. As well as having a strengthened shell for more rigidity, this thing has a phenomenal engine under that hood, which is a B16B unit producing 185 brake horsepower from a naturally aspirated unit. Some serious technology in that car back in 1997. This car is wholeheartedly standard. It's a very honest car. It's not been used since 2013, but Usher will tell you the full story with it. I was never a fan of these back in the day, but they've grown on me over time, and I've really started to appreciate them. The question is it as good in terms of overall appeal as a hot hatch compared to some of the other cars that are available from that period of time? Would you choose an EK9 over a 205 GTI? Would you choose it over an Astra GTE? Would you choose it over a Renault 5 GT Turbo? Not in a sorry state, but this car's been off the road since 2013, so it's been off the road for quite a while. It's mouldy and dirty.
It is very, very mouldy. Now, we've been looking for one of these now for quite some time. Everybody likes a story with any car, let alone a hot hatch. So this particular car belonged to a chap in Shropshire. He freshly imported the car back in 2008, used the car, and in 2013, which sounds like a long time ago, 7 years, the car popped its radiator. So the guy put this car in his garage. I'll fix the radiator, I'll get round to it. Took the radiator out of the car, which is now on the floor behind the car, and that is exactly how it was left. 7 years ago, we were put up in the car. Obviously, I was ecstatic, jumping with joy, because I've been looking to own one of these for quite a while, but I wouldn't pay what the market was demanding. And that's basically how we came across this car. It needs some love, it needs some restoration. We will get there with it. It does look like the HMS Titanic under the bonnet at the moment, but We aren't worried about that. We'll spin that round.
Not at all. Car is incredibly clean, actually. I know it's incredibly dirty,
Honest.
but it's honest. Yeah, this is the thing where you can stumble across kind of these barn finds from time to time. And even though this is technically a garage find, it's still a beautiful thing. It's honest. There's a lot of integrity to the car. The boot floor's absolutely immaculate. The seats have got a little bit of bolster wear that I'll show you shortly, but they're going to clean up really nicely. Under here, this is probably where it needs the most presentation work. In fact, I'll show you that now. So we'll cut to that and I'll show you underneath the hood, and you can have a browse at what's going to happen to the engine. It's a great engine, that B16, but yet looking sorry for itself right now.
Now, this little phenomenal machine that you see behind me, it doesn't really need any introduction. Every petrol head knows what this is. The stickers are a giveaway. This is the 1.3 106 Phase 1 Rallye. Now, originally, these came with a little 1.3 cami little engine. Fantastic little car, close to 100 horsepower, very, very nippy. They were renowned for handling well. The engines were quite reliable. They were really well built in terms of the engine. Obviously, typically, it's your French front-wheel drive, hot hatch, no frills, not much to the situation, very, very simple. And that was something that the French got very, very right. Hence why these cars now, they hold a lot of nostalgia and they have a huge following. Now, this one you see behind is owned by us, built in France, perfected at SVP. So this one is one that we finished now. The reason I've made some changes to this particular car is I built this for me. Now, I know there's a lot of purists out there who would like the car to be stock, totally standard. However, when I was in my early 20s, I owned a lot of these. I didn't have a lot of money back then. I always wanted that 16-valve engine from the VTS or the 106 GTI. I always fancied the headwork and the cams. So I've basically built this to how I wanted one back in the day. So what we've got under there is we've got the 1.6 16-valve engine, which comes from the 106 GTI. We've got a ported and polished head. We've got a set of cat cams, 6-point cage, Pug Sport exhaust system, Bilstein B8 shockers all round, Yoko tyres. Now this car is as good underneath as it is on the top. It's a fully restored car. Some might say I've made it too nice to drive. I am a little bit like that one at the moment, but when the summer comes we will get out in this. We've fitted a Satchel engineering shift kit in there, which is phenomenal. It's fully polybushed, and basically I just built this to spec. This, without a doubt, will hold its own on the B roads with either one or two of these cars. I would have thought it'd be very, very close. Power-wise, I think this at the moment, with it stripped out, last time we weighed I think it's about 800 kilograms, and it makes close to 150 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot in today's terms, but it is a good little tool, and it's built very, very well. All three cars I'm feeling, the RS Turbo, the EK9, the Phase 1 Rallye, are all very different, but they've all got similar characteristics, as in, like, the companies that built these cars built them with the same ideas in mind. They wanted a hot hatch to capture the market, a B-road legend. Personally, I think Honda ran away with it with this car. But if you look at terms of the year, 1993, this is on an L, 1990 on a H, and 1998 on an R. There is some difference between the cars, and they are all great in their own little way. They all do different things. But that is the main introduction to our third car, which is the 106 Phase 1 Rallye. The reason that me and Dan are here today was because we have the odd conversation on an evening. At the moment with COVID, we've got a lot of time on our hands, and that has showed over recent weeks. So we often talk shit on an evening. Now, the way the conversation went yesterday was Dan and his Rotbox RS Turbo was brought up, and Dan was saying, this RS Turbo is phenomenal. It'll destroy the EK9. It's typical lads crack. It goes back a long time. We're always being the same. I tell Dan the EK9 is the ultimate hot hatch of all time, and there is no beating this. The B16B is an animal and a legend.
185 brake horsepower, 1,090 kilos. 196 brake horsepower at the wheels, probably around 230 horsepower overall.
It's a lot of power, like.
And 910 kilos. There's no way is that box of noodles staying with classic performance Ford. It's just not going to happen. It's a nice car.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's...
I'm going to pull a line from my and Dan's conversation this morning. Now, Dan's a man who likes to tell the truth, so he will admit up to this. His exact words were to me, without realising, this Fiesta RS Turbo will destroy that EK9 in a straight line. Ladies and gentlemen, what were hot hatches actually built for? They were built to be the king of the B road. Now, I guarantee you put this down any B road in the UK and you put that down any B road in the UK, that is going to feel like a bucket of shite compared to the EK9. That's
standard suspension on that?
It is standard suspension, correct. It is standard suspension.
Stock brakes?
Stock brakes.
Evo coilovers. Cosworth brakes.
Don't get me wrong, in terms of spec, it does have the spec.
What are these tyres?
Yokohama Prada specs that have been on the car since 2013.
We Yokohama here as well, to be fair. But yeah. There's got to be a tread on those.
Yeah, yeah. If I was to roll this out after standing since 2013, it would still beat the Fiesta.
It's not going to beat the Fiesta, but the reality is this is what's the real surprising element of all of this, because despite the banter between the Ford and this, kind of Costco box of noodles that he's bought from somewhere, which is another story altogether. Yeah. You come back to this little 106, which is massively underpowered in this territory, really.
100%.
Yet, won't be a million miles away.
No.
It doesn't really matter about the performance of a hot hatch from the 1990s so much anymore, because the reality is these things are slightly more fragile these days, and you are not necessarily going to be driving them absolutely on the limit every day. They're cars that you take out every now and again, and a lot of the time it's actually for the nostalgia, and also they look cool as hell. Again, go and buy these now before they disappear off the face of the earth. It looks like we're coming to the end of an era, the end of the combustion engine, and that's likely to happen over the next 20 or 30 years. And these things are getting scarcer already. There's a couple of hundred of some of these lying around these days, still taxed and out on the roads. They're a great financial purchase, and you really need to be jumping into one of these and buying one as an ownership prospect before they disappear off the face of the planet, or they're so expensive that you're priced out of the market. Don't miss out, everybody. Go and buy one. And whilst you're buying one, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in 2021.